Fa wo ho bo Yesu ne ma wo honto. Yasina mfuwa bebu abemo. Na se unishi na se wo Yesu osumbo pa onone oyonko pa. Enti obi anti mebo ame. Fa wo ho bo Yesu ne ma wo honto Yasina mfuwa betumi aye o pasa. Na se unishi na se wo Yesu osumbo pa onone oyonko pa. Me hunu menyankwa oyonko pa. Me hunu menyado Yesu modo oyonko pa. Oh, what a friend! Oyonko pa no ni o. Yesu modo oyonko pa no ni o. Jesus Christ is a friend indeed. Oyonko pa, oyonko pa, oyonko pa, oyonko pa, oyonko pa no ni a. Me uno ama me nyankwa. Oh. Obi adi wiase na mfo achi ama na wade ajerega. Experience is the best teacher. Enti make us free me ankasa my experience mu. Ade wiase yonko de ye me no. Ma hwe yie. Na me si wiase yonko nya de. Wiase yonko fa ho kosi babia. Wo se me bo aya tie me dumi. Manusia wo batine me kayase. Ma fire nkwa. Na no me ko tema me konya bi. Me coach fu pra so me fire nkwa. Bantu ma so dem me wa yonko bebre. Aso ni nyina ye yase yonko. Okeka me wonsem otwitwa me nantini. Onyama wade mpa na nka egu. Nanso Yesu antisa o. Enyumre me kanfo Yesu ama o. O shisha yonkwa shisha Yesu na Yesu dia wonum tramoda o de ho bono besesa okra oyonko pa oyonko po ni monta kase Yesu mondo kase Yesu mondo oyonko pa me wonu menyankwa oyonko pa.
All right, this is Voice of Wisdom. My name is Pastor Ben. This is a new program that I'm introducing in order to give sound advice or counsel to the youth that are coming up. So if you're listening or watching me this time, it is a message intended for the youth. People between the ages of 0 and 45. The Voice of Wisdom, what I call VOW as an acronym. It is a daily tape that will be provided to encourage the youth and to make you think in the right direction. So make sure after today you do not miss the Voice of Wisdom. We give it an acronym VOW. So when I say VOW, you say Voice of Wisdom. I want to share a very simple message with you today in Voice of Wisdom. And I have titled it Live Effectively. Live Effectively. I have decided not to quote scriptures in the messages that will come under Voice of Wisdom. But then, some of the instances I will pick from the scripture. Although I will not be making direct references from the Bible. Because I want to speak to the youth in the simplest language that they can understand. The nation Ghana is looking up to the youth. The baby boomers are dying. Very soon, our old men and old women will leave the system, and the youth will be taking over the economy of Ghana. It is important that we make them understand or give them reasons to live up to expectation. So I'm doing a message briefly titled Live Effectively. Now, if you're a young man out there, if you're a young woman out there, if you're a youth within the ages of 0 and 45, please listen to me carefully. You are not important because of how long you will live on this earth. If you want to define relevance of your life on this earth, it is not determined by how long you live. Your importance or relevance to this world will be how effective you live. I want you to take note of this. There is a difference between living long and living effectively. Most people are concerned about how long they're going to live on this earth. And if you were a youth and you're listening to me, this should not be your concern. That you are concerned about growing old rather than being effective. Instead of thinking of growing old, think of how you can impact your generation or your world. People who have impacted this world did not actually live long. I will give you some few examples. Martin Luther King, he impacted the world. He did not live long. John F. Kennedy, he impacted the world. He did not live long. Alright? These people never lived long, but they impacted the world in such a way that their names cannot be deleted or erased from history. This is what must drive you in this lifetime. Don't aspire to live long. Aspire to live effectively by impacting your generations. And I want to give you an interesting scenario in the Bible. The oldest man in scripture is Methuselah. Just so you get the message I'm trying to pass on to you. The man who lived longest in scripture is Methuselah. He lived for 969 years. But check the Bible. All that the Bible said about him was, and he died. We did not hear the Bible recording any impact, any significance, any relevance of this man. The only thing we know is he's the oldest man who ever lived. So I think I'm say. Now, consider the age of Methuselah to the age of David. At the time David was dying, he was not as old as Methuselah, but David impacted his generation. Till now, when we are preaching the gospel, there are many references we make about David. There was so much David had, so much experience he had with God. Look at Joseph. He never grew old as much as Methuselah lived. But we know of Joseph through whom the entire world got food to eat for 7 solid years. This is living an imprint on your generation. This is what I'm talking about. David lived effectively. Joseph lived effectively. But Methuselah lived long. Young man, I don't want you to think of growing old. Think of impacting your generation. Doing something that will make your generation and the history of the world never to forget about you. Not in the bad way, but in the most efficient way. Alright? If you think that you need to take good care of your health so that you live long, you're mistaken. There are many people who have not lived long, but as I speak with you, they have made an impact in their generation. I'll give you an example. The leader, the prime minister or the president for Austria, within the ages of 30, he is not even up to 35 years. Alright? Austria. But this young man is leading a whole nation. You are a Ghanaian. Somewhere 40, somewhere 30s. Are you waiting until you are about 60 years before you can leave an imprint or impact your generation? You get it? So if you are a youth, one of the things that will guide you in this life is to have a definite purpose. And I'm surely going to talk about this purpose, because anybody that wants to leave an impact in his generation is mindful of the fact that death is a determinant in how effective you live on this earth. Let me give you another example. Compare how many years Jesus lived on earth to Methuselah. He lived for 33 and a half years. Jesus did not live long. But look at the impact that Jesus Christ, the one you have believed in, the one I have believed in, look at how he impacted the world. You understand? You see, I used to say this. Unfortunately, it is the truth. I once told my dad that, Papa, when you lived your life on this earth, you were not mindful of how you were going to impact your generations. I have not reached the age that you have reached, but I have impacted my generations and lived better than you in every aspect of my life. As young as I am, I have impacted lives. I have left an imprint of my life in many people, both the young and old. I am one of the youngest preachers in Ghana. To be very sincere with you, I am one of the youngest preachers in Ghana. Alright? If you look at me, you look at my age, and you look at the impact I've made in both the young and old's lives, life is not about living long. People who want to live long normally don't make impacts in this lifetime. But if you are living effectively, it doesn't matter. Death is a treasure for you, because the world will never forget you. So your purpose is limited by time, and you must learn to impact your world within this time frame. I'm trying as much as possible not to quote the scriptures, but if you make reference to Ecclesiastes chapter number 3, verse number 1, if you would permit me, just this once, so that we read. Just permit me just this once. Let's read Ecclesiastes chapter number 3, verse number 1. I need to draw your attention to something important. Maybe you have not taken close look at that particular scripture. It says that to everything there is a season, a time for every purpose under heaven. A time for every purpose under heaven. Now, this scripture is telling you that in the heavens is eternity. There is no time. When you are in the heavens, there is no time. You are not bound by time. Alright? So, those who live in the heavens are living outside of time. But under this heaven, on this earth, under the heavens, the purpose for which God has given you is limited by time. And that is why I was saying that your purpose is limited by time. So have it in mind that as much as you want to live long on this earth, the purpose for which God has placed you here, why you need to make an imprint in the lives of your people, your generation, so that your nation forgets not about you, so that your people forgets not about you, so that your town does not forget about you, so that your school does not forget about you. Your purpose is limited by time. So under the heaven, every purpose has time, and death must remind you of this time. So if you are a young man and you are listening to me, don't aspire to live long. You must aspire to live effectively in this lifetime. The secondary school I attended, their history will never forget about me. I was there for 3 years. Alright? That secondary school, I was there for 3 years. But if you go to the history of New Jabin, they will never forget about me, because the history will tell you that within the 3 years, somebody who came to Form 1, and by Form 1 third term, he was able to write the SSCE and pass. Are you getting me? Something nobody had ever done in the institution. Form 1 third term. I was able, within the scope of 3 years, I was the only prefect, the only school prefect who was not voted for. I was appointed. It has never happened. They say that when the board called me, they said that, look, we've been studying you from Form 1, and then we see how disciplined you are. We know that you can be a great leader for the school, and for that matter, we are not going to vote on you. We'll just choose one person, and then you will work together as prefects for the school. And I was the only prefect that could punish both students and teachers. Are you getting it? Both students and teachers. You dare not mess around, because they saw me to be very disciplined, and many of my colleagues never liked me till now. But those principles made me leave an imprint on the soil of the institution. As a minister, I don't want to live long. I want to make an impact in the lives of the youth. This is something I have sat down to realize, and upon careful study, I realized that it is of no use to live long when you can impact your world within few years. So, young man, don't waste your time on unnecessary things. The purpose for which the Lord has planted you here, make sure you work at it and live effectively instead of trying to live long. This is the voice of wisdom I have for you today. Until I come with the next vow, and I said vow is voice of wisdom. Until I come your way again, try to work on this one. All right? Live effectively in your family. Live effectively in your organization. At your workplace, live effectively. If you are a politician, live effectively. Put it at the back of your mind that any power, any government that comes to power, you have just 4 years. 4 years. Your nation may never forget you for 4 years work done. It doesn't matter how long you stay in power. That is not what matters. And that is why at a point I'm afraid for the nation, the future of this nation, because the politicians want to be in power for a very long time. It is not about how long you remain in power. It's about how effective you are during the few years in power. And that is what the people will use to remember you. All right? It is not about how long you are going to do that work. No. How long you are going to manage that business. No. It's about how effective you have administered the affairs of the company. People who live effectively mostly don't live long. And they are the people that impact their world. My name is Pastor Bernard. I believe this message will get you thinking. I believe this message will compel you to think out of the box and begin to pursue the purpose for which the Lord has placed you here. Because if you don't, you will never live effectively. You will just live long and die. Remember what the Bible said about Methuselah. The Bible said, and he died. After 969 years, all that the Bible said is he died. Can you imagine that? But the Bible never said that about Jesus Christ. The Bible never said that. In fact, there is so much the Bible has said about Jesus Christ. And if you compare how old Jesus lived to Methuselah, I think you get my message now. So you, the watcher, you, the listener, don't live long. Live effectively. This is voice of wisdom. Until I come your way again, stay thinking about this. Bye-bye.